Hey everyone, we're here in week 13 of the NFL season where we're talking picks and predictions for this week's slate of games. As always, if you're enjoying this video, make sure you like and subscribe so you can keep getting this content week in and week out. And let us know in the comment section what you think, if you're loving it, and let us know what we can improve on too. Take a look at the games, but before we start, I want to say our weekly shout out to Prize Picks, our partner in daily fantasy sports. Prize Picks, if you sign up with our code PROPICKS, they'll match your deposit up to $100, which is a great deal because you can use that $100 or whatever amount they match your deposit at. Play around the site, see if you like it or not. And if you don't, just take out your money, basically risk-free, and just using their money is like kind of a tryout to see if you like it or not. Again, that's code PROPICKS. We really like this because you get the option to do power play, which is a more traditional parlay, but you also have the option of flex play where if you build a parlay and just one leg doesn't hit, you'll still get paid out just a little bit less than you normally would if you hit all the legs. And I really like Prize Picks too because it's available in 30 different states, and a lot of those states are states that haven't legalized sports gambling yet because it is daily fantasy. So definitely something to look into. Again, use the code PROPICKS to take advantage of that deposit match. One last thing before we get in the games, make sure you're following us on Twitter at Profit of Picks. We got a lot of good stuff on there, but especially like our late game bets and quick adds to our card, or just some analysis of the game that we think. So it's definitely beneficial just from an information sense, especially if you're into the betting scene as well. And that's across all sports, not just football, mostly college basketball as well. First game we're going to talk about for week 13 is the Thursday night game with the Cowboys taking on the Saints. Both these teams lost on Thanksgiving Day, coming off long weeks. Here, I like the Cowboys to cover the spread and win this game with hopefully their star receivers Cooper and CeeDee Lamb back. Even if they're both not playing this game, I still like the Cowboys to win the game. I just don't like them to cover this spread. The thing is, the Saints with Trevor Siemian, especially without Alvin Kamara, has just no identity on offense. Really can't put anything together. They're just leaning on their defense to stop the opponent, and especially high-powered offenses like the Bills. And they do a decent job now and then, but you can't expect to have that defense, that Saints defense on the field, just every play, getting no breathers there with the offense going 3 and out and expect to be as productive as they normally are. They just can't do it. I don't think that this game's going to be any different for the Saints, and especially in their offense. They're going to have struggle moving the ball downfield, and that Saints defense is going to be on the field a lot. This is one of the best offense, if not the best offense in the league when they're all healthy. In the Cowboys, they had a great O-line, a great running back in Zeke, and Tony Pollard, who's really emerged out of the backfield, and a great wide receiving core when they're healthy too. So I expect the Cowboys offense just to really outpace the Saints here. I don't expect them to put up a ton of points, especially if they're not healthy, but definitely a lot more than the Saints are going to put up with their really atrocious offense right now. If CeeDee Lamb and or Amari Cooper are not playing, I like the under this game for the fact that I don't think that the Saints are going to put up many points at all, regardless of who's playing for this Cowboys defense. And without their star receivers and against this really good run defense in the Saints, I think that the Cowboys offense might struggle a little bit if their star receivers are out. So something to keep an eye on going into this Thursday game. The next game, the NFC North matchup with the Vikings taking on the Lions at Ford Field. If you've watched any this season, if you watch any Lions game at all this season, you know that there is without a doubt that they are the worst team in football. They don't look like they're interested in winning any single game. And I don't think that's going to be different here, even playing at home. I just have run out of excuses to give the Lions. They're now without their star running back and probably their leading receiver, at least in terms of receptions, and DeAndre Swift. So I really like the Vikings to win this game regardless here, but probably even more than 7 points. The Vikings coming off a loss but against the 49ers. But this team is still in the hunt. I think they actually might be that 7th wildcard spot in the NFC. This is a team, regardless, fighting for a playoff spot. Has a lot of talent. Even without Dalvin Cook, they have, in my opinion, the best receiver combo in the NFL with Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. Kirk Cousins is playing quietly really well at quarterback, despite sometimes lining up under his right guard in the crunch time. But other than that, Kirk Cousins actually put together a really good year. But this is more so about the Lions and how bad they are on both sides of the football. They're not going to have that great of a run game without DeAndre Swift. Yes, they have Jamal Williams, who's pretty serviceable, but not the X factor, especially in the pass game like DeAndre Swift was, and doesn't have the breakaway speed either. And then on defense, they haven't really stopped anyone all year. For the most part, I don't think it's going to be any different with the Vikings, who are really incentivized to win, trying to get this last wild card and playoff spot. The Lions really, besides trying to put up a W, have no incentive to win, and they don't look like they have any interest in winning. Anyways, Jared Goff at quarterback, and the play calling for the Lions too was just terrible. Dan Campbell's a tight end calling plays for that team, and I just am questioning his play calling constantly. Jared Goff, yeah, you're going to see a stat sheet. He goes like 20 for 22 in passes, but he only has 100-yard passing because everything he does is just a check down to the running back or a screenplay. They don't have any down the field offense, and I'd be shocked if they put up enough points to beat the Vikings, and that's why I think the Vikings win and cover this game. Cardinals, we haven't seen perform at their best in a while, with DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray out taking on the Bears, who somehow barely beat the Lions in a 16-14 win. I'm assuming that coming off a bye week, coming off a lot of time to heal from these injuries, that Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins are going to play. If that's the case, just absolutely hammer -7.5 for the Cardinals here. This is one of the best teams in football playing one of the worst and most dysfunctional teams in football with the Bears. Even if Kyler Murray is not playing or DeAndre Hopkins isn't playing, I still think the Cardinals are going to beat the Bears and beat them by a wide margin. I just don't know what to expect with this Bears offense. They could barely beat the Lions. I mean, they almost seem better off with Andy Dalton, but I just think the Bears don't know what they're doing at the quarterback position or an offense in general. They're wasting talent with people like David Montgomery and Allen Robinson. Seems like the only thing they got going for them is the connection between Fields and Darnell Mooney. A ton of key injuries on defense for the Bears, especially in that D-line. Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack both being out, with Mack being out for the season, I think. The bright spot on that defense for the Bears is Roquan Smith, but he's not enough to piece that defense together against this great offense with the Cardinals, again, especially if Murray's playing. The Bears, if you just watch Thursday's game against the Lions, you know they're a terrible football team. You know that the Cardinals are healthy, that they're going to beat up on this team. I really like the Cardinals to win this game by a lot. Another road team, another divisional matchup that I really like a lot in the situation with the Bucs against the Falcons. These teams met earlier this season. I think the Bucs won by 23 points. They destroyed them. I think the Bucs have gotten better since then. I think the Falcons have gotten worse since then. I really like this is a no-brainer. Obviously, we all like the Bucs to win this game. I like the -10 as well. I think this game, you're going to see this Patriots-Falcons game is going to be a blueprint for this kind of game. You saw that the Patriots just got after Matt Ryan and the Falcons. They had no answer for the pass rush. If you think that Patriots front seven is scary, this Buccaneers front seven is even scarier. Guys like Ndamukong Suh, Devin White, JPP. It's just Vita Vea with his lost tooth and all. They're going to get after the quarterback. I would be shocked if Matt Ryan has that much time to pass and get the ball downfield. Tom Brady, late in the season, like I keep saying in these videos, it's just going to keep getting better and better. He's only gaining strength and confidence right now. Same with the rest of this team, getting to the point where they're pretty healthy as well. I would just not overthink this one. Bucs going to win this game. I think they're going to win by a lot. I think this pass rush for the Bucs is going to be the big difference too, that really opens the hole in this game for them. Another divisional matchup, another heavy road favorite, Colts playing the Texans. Colts going off a tough loss when they played pretty well against the Buccaneers, but it was the turnovers that killed them. And then the Texans coming off a tough loss against the Jets, which shows you how bad that franchise and that this Texans team is. I think they're showing glimpses of being a really good football team, really solid now later in the season. I think people are starting to believe in them more with a quality win too against like the Bills. They very well could have beaten the Bucs. They're showing to be a better and better football team that people, including myself, believed at the beginning of the season. A team that's just outside looking in the playoff spot. They have a lot to play for. The Texans have very little to play for except their own pride. I like the Colts here, who have just a formula to beat down on bad teams. I've said it before. They have a great run game. They have a great offensive line. They have a good defense that has playmaking ability and a tendency to force turnovers and good head coaching, which is always so underrated in the NFL. I can't say any of those things about the Texans. If the Colts can limit the turnovers, Carson Wentz can limit the turnovers and just run behind Jonathan Taylor, which is what they've done in a lot of their last wins, the Colts are going to win this game easy against the Texans by a lot, I believe, just because I think that, especially with the emergence of Pittman in that offense, T.Y. Hilton's back. They have a lot of weapons with Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines out of the backfield at running back. Solid defense, Darius Leonard, one of the best linebackers in the game. I think they have no problem beating the Texans. Also, like the under here, just because of the fact that I don't think the Texans really put up that many points, but like the 8.5, much better. Eagles, Jets here. I think there's no doubt the Eagles win this game. They're just on offense, actually, to my surprise, they're ranked really high in a lot of metrics, especially the run game. I just don't respect Jalen Hurts' ability to pass the ball effectively and accurately, but I do love some of his wide receivers like Devonta Smith, who's just so fun to watch and such a great route runner. The Jets are the Jets. They just beat the Texans, which really means nothing in the NFL today. So I really don't like, but I don't like Jalen Hurts enough to grant the Eagles -7. And I don't like it. I think it's stupid to pick the Jets at any point in the season plus points, no matter what they show you the week before. So I really don't know what I would take or accept. I'm pretty confident the Eagles win this game. I think it's going to be closer than you think just because the Jets do have a solid-ish defense. I think they have the ability to take away the run game, make Jalen Hurts throw the ball on, which, again, I don't think he's that accurate about. He just relies on scrambling and running the ball a lot and extending the play with his feet and finding guys open downfield in that scramble drill. But when he's set in the pocket and he's got timing throws, he doesn't hit the mark. And that's where I really ding him as a quarterback. Again, it's the Jets. I think the Eagles win this game. Other than that, I really don't know what to predict. But don't be surprised when the Jets compete this one. The LA Chargers, West Coast team, and some nice weather going to Cincinnati in the wintertime, taking the Bengals. I do think this crappy weather in Cincinnati is going to make a difference. And that's why I'm leaning towards the Bengals in this game. I think these two teams are very similar, pretty good offenses. The Chargers have a great offense. The Bengals, I'd say, have a pretty good offense, especially with good wide receivers and a solid running back, even out of the backfield. The Cincinnati, I give the edge to the defense a little bit. Chargers, who don't have a great defense, I think deserve a little more credit than they're getting, although they still are a below average defense. I'm taking the Bengals here. This is going to be a very close game just because I like both offenses so much, and I do think it could go either way. Taking the Bengals here for a couple of different reasons. One is the weather. I think they're more accustomed to playing in this type of cold environment than the Chargers do, either in San Diego or in the Dome in LA, depending on when they started with this team. And then just the slight bump that the Bengals get on defense, I think that's going to be a factor. To be honest, I really don't think this game is pretty close to a coin flip. I don't know much about these two teams in terms of specifics. What I would say to that is, if you watch these guys, the teams that the Chargers can beat up on are the teams that play man-to-man defense. And the reason why is because of two things on that Chargers offense. You can't guard Keenan Allen in man-to-man because he's just too good of a route runner. And you can't guard Austin Ekeler out of the backfield because no linebacker can cover him. So if you know the Bengals well and the Bengals play a lot of man-to-man defense, don't pick the Bengals. I like the Chargers there. If the Bengals are really good at rushing 4 and dropping back 7 and playing zone, I like the Bengals there. So it's just a style of defense that the Bengals play that I think will decide the outcome of this game. And I don't know enough to tell you right now. But if you do, use that information wisely, because that's how the Chargers win and lose games. That's why they're so variable in their wins and losses. It's the way the defense plays them and the way this offense is set up to beat defenses. Mike Williams, the 6'5" receiver, just jumps over his man-to-man defender. When they're in a zone, he's getting double covered. He can't make those plays. So look at the type of defense since he's playing, I think, that, and has been playing throughout this year, and that's going to make a huge difference in this game, in my opinion. The Giants coming off a surprising win against the Eagles. The Eagles taking on the Dolphins. And the Dolphins are favored at home, coming off a big win against the Panthers. They're -3 here. I'm not reading too much in that -3 win. One of those touchdowns, they did beat up on the Panthers. One of those touchdowns was off a block punt. But regardless of what the special teams for that Dolphins team did, I just don't think the Panthers are a great football team, especially Cam Newton at quarterback. He was cut this year for a reason. The Patriots. The guy cannot throw the football, which is what you saw here or last Sunday against the Dolphins. So I'm not reading too much in that win. I'm not reading too much in the win for the Giants against the Eagles, but I do think it proves that they're able and willing to step up when needed to. This team is still in the hunt, according to some graphics, so they do have a little bit to play for, and they do have some playmakers on offense that seem to keep them in games. And their defense also is pretty solid. I like the Giants here at +3. I think they're going to win the game, but I really like them at +3. I said it a couple of videos ago. I'll say it again. This is one of the games that I feel like Daniel Jones just steps up. There's not a lot of reason behind it. There's a lot of intuition, a lot of gut feeling. But this is a game that I think Daniel Jones steps up. Saquon Barkley's gonna have a big game. Again, they have a wide array of average talent at the receiving positions and tight end position in New York. I think that's enough for them and enough of that offense to beat the Dolphins. I think James Bradbury is a great cornerback for the Giants that can limit Jalen Waddle, who's really jumped on the scene lately. This is definitely going to be a close game, but I'll take my money on Daniel Jones over Tua right now. Just seems to be playing a little bit better football, which isn't saying much, to be fair. But I think the Giants, I like the way they play hard-nosed, smash-mouth football a little bit more than, especially on the defensive side, than the Dolphins do, and that's why I'm giving them the edge this game. Pretty close game here with the Washington football team against the Raiders. As I'm recording this video, the Washington football team is playing the Seahawks on Monday night. They're tied 9-9. I think that 9-9 score at halftime, especially against that poor Seahawks defense, says a lot about the Washington football team. I just don't think they have a great offense. I've been saying it. I like a few players in that offense, mainly being Terry McLaurin, who's great, but he just can't do it all for that offense. They don't have a good enough run game behind Gibson at running back, but him and McKissick are great threats out of the backfield. But two running backs and a solid receiver on offense aren't enough for that passing game to thrive, especially with a subpar quarterback like Taylor Heinicke. I don't love this Washington football defense either. This fact that they're holding the Seahawks to 9 points at halftime doesn't mean that much to me because it's the fact that the Seahawks just kind of rely on big chunk plays at DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett to put up points. They don't have much of a run game, so I don't think this Washington football team is that great at anything besides throwing the ball to Terry McLaurin, and that's not going to be enough to beat the Raiders, who you saw can put up points in bunches against the Cowboys, whoever a solid defense. Honestly, I'd probably rank the Cowboys defense better than the Washington football team defense based on what I've seen at this point. The Raiders at home, that stadium in Las Vegas is pretty rowdy. I think the Raiders rally behind their offense. A couple key plays, a guy like Max Crosby, Casey Hayward on defense. I think they win this game, and I think they cover -2.5. Honestly, even if neither of these defenses show up, I think the Raiders offense is a lot more talented than the Washington football team offense, and that's going to give them a big edge in this game. I don't even think this game's going to be all that close, to be honest. I think the Raiders win this game by a lot. Here's a game with two offenses that have been struggling lately, with the Ravens taking on the Steelers in Pittsburgh. This is feeling like one of these AFC North matchups from like 10 years ago with Joe Flacco and Big Ben, which is just going to be no points put up. It's going to be all defense, and that's what I'm predicting this game. I really like the under. The Steelers, their offense has just been so stagnant and stymied all season. They can't do anything. And right now it seems like teams are starting to slow down Lamar Jackson a little bit. I don't want to say figure it out because I really don't think you can ever figure out this guy. But Lamar's throwing a lot of more interceptions. The Ravens are really thin at running back, which used to be their most deep position on the team with all these injuries. And the Ravens don't have just a go-to stud receiver to get the ball to. Yes, they got Mark Andrews at tight end, but teams are keen in on him and making Lamar Jackson throw the ball outside the hashes, which he isn't all that great at. That's certainly not his forte. They're doing QB contain, spying Lamar, doing the best they can, take away the run ability, and making Lamar beat them with his arm, which is possible, but definitely not the way the Ravens prefer to win football games. And so for that, I like the under. Ravens also got a pretty solid defense too. I think the Ravens win this game, just giving the Lamar Jackson X factor. But these two teams are very familiar with each other. They know how to play each other, and they're always going to play each other tough. I like the under this game, and the Ravens winning in a very low-scoring, not exciting football game. Here's a game that's also not going to be all that exciting, but for different reasons, with the Jaguars taking on the Rams. You can see here this -13 spread implies that the Rams are heavy favorites, supposed to win this game by 2 touchdowns. That's a lot of points for me to be putting on the Rams, who haven't looked that great of late, losing the Packers, and even that score against the Packers really wasn't indicative of how poorly the Rams played that game in my eyes. They really didn't pass the eyeball test. I'm not going to bet on the Jags +13 either because they look pretty poor lately too, losing the Falcons. I really don't know what to expect in this game. I would hope the Rams use this as a bounce back game to get some momentum in the back half of the season to try to roll into the playoffs as one of these wild card teams. I do think that once they get guys like Odell and Von Miller more integrated, that offense and defense, they're going to start picking up a little bit more. But that being said, the Ravens, besides the Bucks, don't have a ton of quality wins. They really shouldn't have beat the Colts either earlier this season. That was a game that Carson Wentz kind of gave that game away. I'm not too sure what to expect here. I would hope, and my gut says that the Rams are going to beat up on the Jaguars and win by more than 13 points, but I can't say that for sure, certain because of the fact that the Rams have just looked so poor lately. So I'm not too sure what's going to happen here. I'd say, if anything, I take the under just because the Jags aren't going to be able to put up points against this defense. And right now, the Rams haven't been looking terrific on offense either. So I don't really know. I don't love this under either, but the Rams are going to win this game, and who knows what it's going to look like. Good divisional matchup here with the Broncos playing the Chiefs in Arrowhead. This 9.5 point spread might imply a blowout, but traditionally in these AFC West matchups, especially the Broncos when they take on the Chiefs, it's closer than you might think than the spread might indicate. That being said, Chiefs are coming off a bye. They're on a roll right now in the second half of the season. They can't really afford to lose too many games, if any, throughout the rest of the year, especially against subpar opponents like the Broncos. The Broncos are also either going to start Teddy Bridgewater, who's pretty injured, or going to start Drew Lock. Either way, these guys can't hold a candle to Patrick Mahomes. I think the Chiefs are going to stay on their warpath and stay on their roll throughout this end of the season. I think they're going to cover this 9.5. Every year, this Chiefs team to do this, especially on defense. They look terrible. They can't figure it out. And this year, I thought it was going to be different because they looked especially bad. But Steve Spagnuolo and the defensive personnel, especially guys like Tyrann Mathieu, Chris Jones, they start to figure it out. They start to get a bit quicker there in the defense. And they put it all together, and they start to look pretty formidable on defense. And then they start to really click on offense. That's what's happening right now with the Chiefs, especially against a hobbled quarterback or a backup quarterback for the Broncos. I think they roll easy here coming off a bye week at home. Really good divisional matchup here. The Niners taking on the Seahawks. I kind of mentioned the Seahawks earlier in this video. They don't have a great defense. They're really just propped up by Bobby Wagner, who is just terrific and a no doubt Hall of Famer at linebacker there. But in offense, they don't have a great run game. Alex Collins is more of a bully back than a speed guy that can hit the hole hard and break open big plays. And then at the wide receiver, they got guys like DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett who are great. But the Seahawks offense, either they're not utilizing them well or they can't utilize them well. I'm not sure what it is, but you're really only seeing these guys break open from big plays, either on play action or on busted plays that Wilson extends with his legs. Either way, the Seahawks aren't putting up enough points. They are dead last in the league in time of possession. The only thing they really have going for them on defense is their red zone defense. But regardless, their offense just isn't there. It's not what we're used to seeing from them. And the Niners, people are forgetting, or people probably have forgot, this Niners team was the team that was the favorite to win the division preseason. Obviously, that's not going to happen now, but at the beginning of the year, they were pretty badly hurt with a lot of guys, a lot of key players too, like George Kittle, and some key guys on defense that made this team a shell of what it used to be. Those guys are getting back. They're getting healthy. The Niners are on a roll right now. I really like them to win this game. I think giving them just to win by -2.5 here is a steal. I don't think the Seahawks are going to be able to put up much points. I don't think they're going to be able to stop the run game of the 49ers, let alone Deebo Samuel and George Kittle in the pass game too. Right now, I'm just not a big believer in the Seahawks, and I'm hopping on the Niners bandwagon while they're still hot, and I'm going to stay on them until they cool off because they are showing everyone why they were the preseason favorite to win this NFC West. And I think they're starting to slowly put together and maybe even make a push for the playoffs. As an outsider looking in, I could see a backdoor playoff spot for the Niners if they keep playing the football the way they are playing. And the last game that we're going to talk about, which can be an incredible game, and if you love good, tight football games, the Patriots taking the Bills, AFC East rivals here, and two of the best teams in the AFC or in football in general. The thing that's going to define this game is the defenses for both teams. These teams both have two top 5 defenses right now, with the Patriots showing that they probably have the best defense in the league, which I've been saying for a while. But the Bills have a great front seven and great playmakers in the secondary too, guys like Trey White, Micah Hyde. I know I've seen games like this before 2 years ago with the Patriots and the Bills, where they were both really solid teams fighting for playoff spots. And I think there might have been 20 total points in the game. It was just all defense, all field position battle. Couldn't get anything. I think that's what you're going to see here today. Love the under in this game. the Bills have virtually no run game outside of Josh Allen. Patriots are going to make them commit to run game. They're going to take away the pass as much as they can. That's going to really limit this Bills offense, especially if they're forced to run the ball. The Patriots love to run the football. The Bills defense going to take that away. They're going to make Mac Jones throw the ball a ton this game if their game plan goes accordingly. And I'm not trusting a rookie Mac Jones against this pretty scary Bills defense to put up a lot of points either. So I love the under this game. And I think the Bills win this one in a very tight, low scoring game. It's all going to come down to the turnover battle. I would like to say Josh Allen is, a seasoned enough vet to not make stupid turnovers, but you never know with this guy. He's, especially when he's running the football so much, he's liable to turn the ball over in a fumble. But the Patriots are a team that love to force turnovers and always try to win the turnover battle, and that's something that could happen in this game too. This is going to be a really good game, but I like the under here no matter what. Taking a look at the Week 12 schedule, these are just my picks outright. You can see in the left, there's nothing really crazy here, no crazy upsets I'm picking. The Bengals are a close game against the Chargers. I'm leading their side. The Giants is an upset win against the Dolphins on the road. If you don't like that, I definitely like the Giants +3. Raiders winning a close game against the football team. Ravens on the road against the Steelers. Niners in a close game going into Seattle, which is going to be a tight game as usually it is, but I think the Niners win that one. And then I'm taking the Bills as just a slight win over the Patriots with a really low scoring game there and a lot of great defense. So if you like this video, please like, subscribe, show us your support. Let me know in the comment section what you think, what games you're picking, what games you're betting on. Let me know if you think I'm flat out dead wrong on some of these picks. I really don't mind. I love seeing you guys throw some comments on this video. But no matter what happens, best of luck in Week 13, as this slide should say. And hope to see you back for some more videos soon. Good luck, guys.